Okay, in a 55 video, probably not going to be terribly long, but I am shooting with the GoPro. We did want to kind of take a few minutes and go over our ignition system and make sure we're happy with that. So that's part of what we're doing. He's digging things out right now. Well, right now he's playing with his teeth, but a minute ago he was digging things out. So we will let the GoPro run and get on it. Because we didn't know how to account for the thickness of this Y-end blower intake, we bought a distributor with a slip collar. You would think in your mind that you just slam it down on the oil pump and tighten it up. But really, you do need to raise it because, you know, everything's going to expand when it gets hot. So we added 40 mils to the height. And then we've also, because we're at 6 degrees, like we talked about in a previous video, here's number 1. I've got number 1 marked. And then to make it easy when we're on the dyno for the first setup, I can just, if I drop it like that with the rotor pointed to this mark here and set my cap on, we're going to start. The engine will start. It's probably going to need a little more advance than that, but it'll start at 6 degrees. I have no problems with that. So we're going to get this hold down clamp ready to go in at some point. Originally I wasn't going to ship it with this in it, but honestly I don't think it's going to hurt it. We got quite the protector here, so we may pull that back out and lube it. But either which way, it's coming back out so I can check what springs are in it, so I can document what we've got, because that will probably change on the dyno as well. We're getting ready to go ahead and sort out our spark plug wires and get their numbers on them so that we know that. What else are we getting ready to do? I don't know that we're going to bother putting plugs in for that, since these are already pre-made. It's just figuring out which one is the one we need. And you know, because on the dyno with their headers, you know, you can only run it so neat. We'll make sure to bring a bundle of zip ties. Makes your life a little easier. So that's why we were futzing with this. The problem is the stupid adjuster is metric, and finding something that fit it was a nightmare because we don't work on a lot of metric stuff. So is what it is. Yeah, so we'll let the GoPro run for a while we run around like chickens. Okay, pulling the distributor apart, I realize it's brand new, but there's a stop bushing in here, and the one that's in there is the blue one. That's 20 degrees of advance. We don't want 20 degrees of advance to be available. So we're going to go ahead and change that to the black one, which gives us 18 degrees of potential advance. And to do that, I've got to pop the gear off. So I got to drive this pin, and then slide that shaft out, take that bolt off, you know, because this will slide up off the reluctor here. That'll slide out, and then I can change that stop bushing. And now we're just getting the spark plugs, you know, the wires all numbered. It's kind of nice. You're doing 4. So 1, 8, 4. So, you know, typical GM. So 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. Then back around again. And coil, which of course we had accidentally put in circulation, so we had to pop it off. Well, when are you on? 5? Okay. And then these kits come with these nice little labels. I really like them. They work really well. So remember, 1, 8, 4, 3, 6. Alright, which means this is 7. And of course, That's going to make this one 8. Process of elimination. And then, yeah, it is pretty slick. That little spreader just pops them right on there. That's going to make it easier because when it travels, this won't actually, it may be on there. We'll see how we travel. We don't normally have the cap on though. We normally pull the cap, but boy, I've got a heck of a protector sitting here. So suddenly not too worried about any damage. See, one set of our plugs came in -1 because, you know, Summit screwed it up. So there's normally 4 in a box, and they sent us one box that has 4 in it and one box that has 3 in it. So that's fun. The 7s aren't here yet. We're not sure how cold we're going to have to go. We know we got to go cold. So we're going to start with probably the BR7s. And if, well, hopefully on the dyno we can find out if we need the 7s or the 9s. It's maybe too hard to tell there. We may have to find that out on the street. I haven't decided if I'm going to put the little lockdown clamp on there before we go to the dyno. Maybe. It might just be one less thing to mess up. And then something else you would have seen in the GoPro footage is we did finally add our vent tube. So we're going to take a piece of 5/8 hose and just raise it up with a breather. You know, one of the problems you're always going to have with a blower motor is pressure escaping past the ring. So we really got to get pressure out. One thing we're not sure about is should we run a PCV valve? Not actually sure. So it's a question we're going to ask. But we're definitely going to get breathers on here and just get excess fumes out of this thing. I don't like to use chrome hold downs. I think, in fact, I've seen that over time vibration will cause the chrome on a shiny surface to slip. So I'm fine with the iridite or the yellow chromate, whatever you want to call it. You know, this just plugs into our MSD control box. We'll ask our dyno guy if he wants us to bring ours or not. Most guys already have them wired into their setups, so we'll see. This one is a retard setup, so it will also measure vacuum. And of course that silly heater's kicking on, so that's probably it for right now. Oh, the poor 55 is just sitting here waiting. Just waiting. Still a lot to do. We're getting that motor done so that we can get the driveline installed for the last time. That's really high on the list because we're running out of any chances to make any more changes. So getting that fitted the last time before he starts final assembly, that's pretty important. But yeah, this has been a lot of years of work. So coming in here, hopefully just before we go to dyno, we'll get the break-in oil back in, get her primed up. Still gotta get this all set up and ready to go, and let's see what else. Make sure that we've got everything we need for the dyno guy to hook up fuel at 58 psi. That shouldn't be a big issue. Yeah, it's getting close. We're getting excited. So as you saw, while we were just monkeying around, we got the slip collar distributor adjusted. We've got her set for 6 degrees. We sorted through our pre-made wires, no biggie there. Yeah, you know, added that extra breather, and then we've still got to add our vacuum line that comes up and runs up to right here. In the finished product in the car, I think we're going to bend something up real nice and make it all pretty, but for the dyno, I just want it to work, especially since we're going to probably have to tee into it for a couple other things so he can measure. But yeah, that's on our list. But boy, we really want to get this dialed in, get the snipers learning, make sure that there's no issues, figure out what we're doing, and get real happy about it. And then, if everything kind of balances out, then we can play with some pulleys and see what we can and can't do with this thing. Hopefully without sticking any rods out the side. So, yeah, you know, one thing that's nice, when you've got as many projects as he does, you got to organize. And sometimes it takes us a while to find stuff. But he actually found that right away. Most of the 55 stuff's sitting literally right there, waiting to go. You know, like header bolts are waiting, flywheel bolts are waiting. You know, in fact, the flywheel and those bolts are going to go with us. So, yeah, well, hopefully a couple more weeks and we can orchestrate a day off and go get this taken care of. So that's going to be the end of this impromptu 55 video. This has been a ShopRex approved video. Have a great night. Thanks for watching.